The ballroom fell into a stunned silence as the glass shattered, not from a clumsy waiter or a wild party guest. No, it came from her hand. A crystal wine glass, once untouched, now lay in jagged pieces on the marble floor, its red contents splattered like blood near her white heels. Everyone turned, but it wasn't the glass they stared at. It was the woman who dropped it. Her brown skin stood out in the sea of pale, powdered faces. She didn't flinch, didn't look sorry. She just stood there, shoulders straight, chin high, her expression blank like she had rehearsed the moment 1,000 times. He was across the room, tall, impossibly handsome, wearing a suit that probably cost more than her yearly salary. His blue eyes had been scanning the crowd, bored, detached, until they met hers. Their eyes locked. Then came the whispers. She's the only one he invited who didn't come with diamonds. She's the girl who said no to him, right? Who does she think she is? And yet, the most wanted man in the city, Logan Pierce, began to move, slowly at first, then faster. Every step he took toward her pushed more air out of the room. Still, she didn't move. Not even when he was close enough to whisper, "Amara, what are you doing?" She looked up at him, a soft fire in her eyes. "You know exactly what I'm doing." And then she walked out, past security, past guests, past the shocked gasp of his mother. No one had ever walked away from Logan Pierce. Not until Amara. And not after what she had just found out. She never wanted a billionaire 3 months earlier. Amara Clark stood behind the counter at Rose's Cafe, tying her apron and trying not to be annoyed. It was the 3rd time that week her coworker had called out, leaving her to open the place alone. The smell of cinnamon rolls baking in the oven filled the air. Soft jazz played in the background, and outside, the city was waking up. She liked the quiet mornings. No one knew her here. No one cared about who she was or who she wasn't. She could be invisible, just another face behind the counter. That was how she liked it. Until the black SUV pulled up outside. The door opened and out stepped a man in a gray wool coat, sharp jaw and sunglasses. He didn't look like the type who drank coffee from a place like this. He looked like he belonged in a glass tower, drinking something imported from Italy. He walked in, and the air changed. Amara didn't look up right away. She was used to men trying to act important. She didn't care about money. She didn't care about looks. What did any of that matter if people didn't treat you right? But this man, he didn't speak right away. He just stood there, studying the pastry case. Then he said, "What do you recommend?" His voice was deep, not pushy, curious. She glanced at him. "Nothing too expensive," she replied dryly. "Wouldn't want you to go broke?" He smirked. "I'll take the risk." Still, she didn't smile. "Apple scone, fresh, not too sweet," she said, handing it to him. "And if you don't like it, there's a refund policy." He took the bag. "Is that right?" "No," she said. "There's not." For the first time, he laughed. A real laugh. Not the fake kind rich men give when they want something. She didn't know who he was. He didn't tell her. He came back the next day, and the day after that, always ordering something small, always trying to talk. And she kept serving him like he was anyone else. Because to her, that's all he was. The man behind the suit, Logan Pierce, was tired of women. Not in the shallow way. He had never been short on attention. Women wanted his money, his name, his power. Even when they said they didn't, they always did. Until her. Amara. The girl who didn't Google him, who didn't try to impress him, who didn't even blink when she found out who he was. He had been so used to charm working like magic, but she didn't fall for it. She wasn't impressed by his private jet or his corner office. She liked quiet things. Books, music, tea instead of champagne. He found himself telling his assistant to cancel meetings just to get coffee from her cafe. His friends noticed. "You've got that look," his business partner said one afternoon. "What look?" "The I met someone who doesn't care about my bank account look." Logan didn't deny it. He was falling. And it scared him, because he wasn't used to wanting something he couldn't control. Amara had reasons. Good ones. Her last relationship had left her broken. Her ex had used her kindness, lied to her, and left her in debt. She had trusted him, given him everything, and he had walked away like it meant nothing. So now, she kept her heart locked tight. She didn't care how kind Logan seemed, or how gentle he was. She didn't want to fall again. Not for anyone. Not even him. But sometimes, when he looked at her like she was the only one in the world, it was hard not to feel something. Still, she told herself, he'll leave too. They all do. The rain came down hard that night. Amara was closing the cafe early. The city streets were slick, the wind strong. She was locking the back door when she heard the familiar sound of his voice. "You need a ride." She turned. Logan stood under a black umbrella, already soaked around the shoulders. "You followed me?" "I waited," he said simply. "I don't need a ride. I didn't ask what you needed. I asked what I could give." She hesitated. She hated how his words felt like warm air in a freezing room. But the truth was she didn't want to walk home in this storm. So she nodded. In the car, he didn't talk much. The quiet between them wasn't awkward. When they arrived at her apartment, she surprised herself. "You want tea?" He followed her up the stairs, and soon they sat on her small rooftop, under a covered awning, sipping hot mugs. "I like it up here," he said, looking out at the skyline. "Feels honest." She looked at him. "You don't seem like a man who needs honesty." "I do," he said. "More than you think." That night, they didn't kiss. They didn't touch. But something real happened. Something small and serious and soft. A week later, Amara got the call from her sister, crying. Mom collapsed again. Amara dropped everything. She didn't ask Logan for help. She didn't tell him anything. She just left a note at the cafe. "Family emergency. Gone for a few days." Logan didn't hear from her. He called, texted, nothing. It stirred something deep in him, something old and ugly. The fear that maybe she was like everyone else. That maybe she disappeared because she wanted something and hadn't gotten it. But that wasn't it. She was sitting in a hospital waiting room, holding her mother's hand, trying not to cry. Her mom had worked her whole life, cleaning houses, raising 2 girls on her own. Now her body was giving out. Amara used the little savings she had to cover the bills. She didn't call Logan because she didn't want to owe him anything, not even comfort. When she came back, she returned 5 days later. Pale, tired, quiet. Logan showed up at the cafe, jaw tight, eyes searching. "Where were you?" he asked. "My mom was sick." "You didn't think I'd want to know?" "I didn't want to owe you anything." He took a breath, trying not to raise his voice. "You wouldn't owe me for caring. I can't afford to depend on people like you," she whispered, "because one day you'll decide I'm not enough." And he saw it. All of it. Her fear, her pain, her belief that she wasn't worthy of love unless she was useful, perfect, flawless. He stepped closer. "You don't have to be strong all the time." She blinked. "I do." "Not with me," he said. And for the first time, her eyes filled with tears in front of him. Falling slowly after that night, things changed. They started spending more time together, but quietly. No one knew. She didn't want to be on magazine covers or in tabloids. She didn't want the attention that came with dating the city's most powerful man. And Logan didn't push. They read books together, cooked simple meals, took walks in the park after dark when no one could see them. He loved how she saw the world, how she noticed small things, like the sound of leaves under her shoes, or the way sunlight hit glass at certain angles. She made him feel like a person, not a product. And for the first time in his life, he didn't want anything more than that. But deep down, Amara still held back, because part of her believed this happiness couldn't last. People like her didn't get fairy tales, right? He shouldn't have planned one evening. Logan showed up with a suit and a simple black dress. "What's this?" Amara asked. "There's a charity gala tonight. I want you to come with me." Her stomach dropped. "I don't belong at places like that." "You belong anywhere I am," he said softly. She looked at the dress. It was beautiful, simple, elegant, but it felt like a costume, like armor. Still, she went. The room was gold and loud. Glass clinking, people laughing in forced ways, cameras flashing. Every eye turned when Logan walked in with her. Whispers followed them. Who was she? Why her? Was it real? Amara tried to stay calm, but her chest tightened with every passing second. Logan squeezed her hand under the table. "Just stay with me," he whispered. But by dessert, she excused herself and slipped out to the balcony, needing air. She didn't see the woman who followed her, didn't hear the heels clicking behind her. "Nice dress," the woman said. She was tall, blonde, cold. "Did Logan buy it for you?" Amara turned slowly. "Who are you?" "I used to be you, until I wasn't enough either." Amara said nothing. "Enjoy the spotlight while you can," the woman added, voice sharp like ice. "He always leaves, especially when it starts to get real." Then she walked away, and Amara stood there, heart thudding in her chest, that old fear clawing its way back up. She kept hearing the woman's voice in her head. Her doubts screamed louder than reason. So she packed a small bag, left him a note again. "I'm sorry. I don't think I belong in your world. I need time." Then she disappeared. This time, she didn't even tell her sister where she was going. She just needed to breathe without everyone looking at her like she didn't deserve him. She stayed in a tiny town by the coast, working at a bookstore, quiet days, long walks, nights alone. But she missed him. Every single day. She missed his laugh, the way he listened, the way he saw her. But she couldn't go back. Not unless she was sure she wasn't just another moment in his life. Logan didn't take it well. He had looked everywhere, called everyone, even offered rewards to people who might have seen her. He didn't care about pride, or image, or what the media said. He just wanted her back. His mother warned him, "She's not like us, Logan. She'll never be comfortable in your world." "That's why I love her," he said. "She doesn't care about any of this." But the truth was she didn't know where to look anymore. Weeks passed, and part of him started to think maybe she had chosen to stay gone. She never meant to send it, was meant for herself. A letter she wrote in a journal. Just her thoughts, just her feelings. But her younger cousin found it, read it, and sent it. To Logan. The envelope arrived at his office. No return name. But the handwriting was familiar. Inside, the letter read, "Sometimes I wonder if I ran because I was scared of being loved the right way. I've never known what that feels like. Not really. I kept waiting for you to change, to hurt me, to turn cold, but you never did. And that scared me even more, because I started to believe it was real. I miss you, even if I don't deserve you." Logan dropped everything, because now we knew where to find her. The bell above the door chimed. Amara looked up from the register. her heart dropping when she saw him. Logan? He looked tired, wet from the rain, eyes full of something between hurt and hope. She didn't speak, neither did he. Then finally, he walked toward her and placed the letter on the counter. You could have just told me how you felt. She looked down, unable to meet his gaze. I didn't think you'd want someone who's unsure. I didn't want perfect, he said. I wanted you. The store was quiet. Her hands trembled slightly as she reached for the letter. I didn't mean for you to read it. I'm glad I did. A pause. I've been lost without you, he added. And she saw how real it was, how much he meant it. She stepped around the counter, heart beating fast. You came all this way? I'd walk further if I had to. And this time, when he kissed her, she didn't pull away. They returned quietly. No press, no parties. Just the two of them, holding hands in his car, driving into the city like it was a new beginning. Amara still kept her job at the cafe. She didn't want gifts, didn't want favors, but she let him be there, let him help her when she needed it. Slowly, she let herself believe he wouldn't run. He introduced her to his closest friends. He even brought her to a company event, not a gala, just a small dinner. And this time, she felt ready. People still stared, still whispered, but now, she didn't care. Because every time she doubted, he squeezed her hand. And it reminded her she wasn't alone. The envelope. It came in the mail. No name, no return address. Just a manila envelope, placed in her cafe locker one morning. Inside was a USB drive and a photo. A blurry picture of Logan outside a hotel room. Alone. But the implication was clear. A printed message on the photo read, "He's not who you think he is." Her stomach turned. She didn't believe it. Didn't want to believe it. But she couldn't ignore it either. When she asked him, Logan looked confused. I haven't been to that hotel in over a year, he said. Before I even met you. But Amara's hands were shaking. I want to believe you, she whispered. Then do, he begged. Please. The file on the USB opened to a video. Surveillance footage. Logan in a hallway, talking to someone. She couldn't see the other person clearly. The video had no sound, but Logan looked angry. He grabbed the person's collar, shoved them, walked away. Amara sat still for a long time, then rewound it. Over and over. It didn't look like the Logan she knew. He looked cold, cruel. Why would someone send her this? Who recorded it? Why now? Her chest tightened. She needed answers. And for the first time since she met him, she didn't know if she could trust him completely. The next morning, Amara couldn't pretend everything was normal. She barely looked at Logan. He noticed. You saw something, he said. Something more. Amara didn't answer. I need you to talk to me. She finally looked up. I saw a side of you I've never seen before. Cold, angry, like someone with something to hide. His jaw clenched. I was protecting my company, he said slowly. That video was from over a year ago. A former executive tried to blackmail you, leaked sensitive documents. I confronted him outside that hotel. I was angry, yes, but I never hurt anyone. And now someone wants me to believe otherwise? He nodded. They're trying to make you walk away, because they know you're my weakness. Her eyes widened slightly. I've had people come after my business before, he continued, but never someone I loved. Loved. He had never said it out loud. And the word sat in the air, like a stone dropped in still water. But even then, a part of her still wasn't sure. Because the truth wasn't in his wordsit, was in what came next. 2 days later, Amara got another letter. It wasn't anonymous this time. It was signed, Vanessa Caldwell. The same woman from the gala balcony. Inside was a simple message. I told you he wasn't who you thought. He ruined my life. Let me show you how. Amara couldn't ignore it. She agreed to meet. In a small restaurant outside the city, Vanessa sat across from her with tight lips and cold eyes. I was engaged to Logan 5 years ago, she said. Amara's eyes widened. Engaged? He broke it off, said he didn't love me anymore. Then 2 weeks later, my father's business lost a major contractone that Logan controlled. We went bankrupt. You think he did it on purpose? I know he did. Amara's head spun. You've been watching us? I saw the headlines, the photos, you, and I thought, finally someone who doesn't know who he really is. Or maybe I'm the one who actually does, Amara said quietly. Vanessa leaned in. Just ask yourself how many women before you thought the same. That night, Amara couldn't sleep. She sat on the couch, staring at the city lights, waiting for Logan to come home. When he walked in, he knew immediately. You saw her? Amara nodded. She said you were once engaged, that her father's company was destroyed after you left her. Logan looked away, ran a hand through his hair. It's true. We were engaged. But I didn't love her. I was young, and I did what was expected. And the business deal? I had nothing to do with it. Her father broke a contract with us first. Our legal team just responded. It wasn't revenge. It was business. She believed his voice. But she didn't know if she believed the world he came from. I don't want to be another casualty, she said. You're not. How do I know that? He stepped closer. Because this time, I'd walk away from everything else before I ever let go of you. In the days that followed, Amara pulled back. She needed time to think, to breathe. Vanessa kept texting. Logan kept checking in. And Amara felt like she was standing between two cliffs, unsure of which way was safe. Her sister called. Do you love him? She asked. I do, Amara whispered. Then fight for him. But what if I get hurt? What if you don't? And for once, Amara stopped thinking about what could go wrong and started thinking about what could go right. Amara decided to take control. If she was going to stay, she needed the full truth, not words, not emotion, but facts. She reached out to a private investigator, gave him one task: find everything on Logan Pierce, his past relationships, his business records, anything that was ever covered up. A week later, she received a sealed folder. Inside, dates, timelines, testimonies. There were no lawsuits against Logan, no sealed settlements, no pattern of mistreatment or abuse. In fact, there were dozens of internal emails written by employees thanking him for protecting their jobs during a company shakeup years ago. Even the incident with Vanessa's father wasn't what she claimed. Her father had used insider information to short Logan's company stock. She was the one who tried to sabotage Logan first. And Logan had responded with evidence, not revenge. Amara sat back in her chair, heart pounding. He wasn't perfect. But he wasn't a monster. He was honest, protective, sometimes too aggressive when defending what he loved, but never cruel. Vanessa had twisted the story because she couldn't stand that Logan had finally found someone who loved him for real. That night, Amara sent Vanessa a message. You lied. The reply came instantly. He'll break you. Just wait. But Amara didn't feel fear this time. She felt angry, not just at Vanessa, but at herself for almost walking away from someone who had done nothing but love her. Amara called Logan. I need to see you, she said. He arrived within 30 minutes. No questions, no hesitation. She handed him the folder. I had you investigated. He blinked, then nodded slowly. Okay. I had to know for myself. I get it. You're not what people say you are. No, he said softly. I'm not. Then she stepped closer, voice trembling. And I'm not going to run again. His breath caught. Are you sure? She nodded. I don't want to be afraid of love anymore. And with a deep, quiet breath, Logan pulled her into his arms like it was the first time all over again. Not in a flashy Wayno magazine spreads or red carpet stunts, just a photo, shared on Logan's social media. A simple image of them walking down a quiet street, holding hands, smiling. The caption read, "Home is wherever you are." The world responded fast. Some were cruel, some were shocked, but most were happy for them. And Amara? She didn't care about anyone else's opinion anymore. She had found peace and real love, and for once, she allowed herself to keep it. Their rooftop, where they first shared tea, where they first felt something real. He set a small velvet box between them and waited. Amara smiled, tears already rising. You don't have to get down on one knee, she whispered. I wasn't going to, he said with a smirk. I know better than to propose to a woman like you without asking first. She laughed. Then she took the ring, slipped it on, and said the one word that mattered. Yes. A security guard at Logan's headquarters spotted smoke in the basement. Then the alarms rang out. Fire trucks arrived. It wasn't a huge fire, but it was enough to damage the lower floors of the building, enough to delay business, enough to send a message, because someone had started it, and that someone had left behind a red envelope. No letter, just a photo of Amara, crossed out in black marker. The police questioned everyone, staff, contractors, security, even Logan himself. But Logan already knew who was behind it. Vanessa. He told Amara that night, she's trying to scare you off. Amara stayed calm. It won't work. She's unstable. I should have done more. I should have stopped her years ago. She didn't break me then, Amara said, and she won't now. Still, Logan hired private security to watch over Amara for the next few weeks. Not because he didn't trust her strength, but because he refused to risk losing her. Not now. Not after everything. She was caught on camera trying to bribe a former employee to plant fake evidence of fraud against Logan's company. Her plan was to leak the footage to the press and ruin him. But this time, the employee went straight to the police. Vanessa was arrested for conspiracy, trespassing, and property damage linked to the fire. When Amara read the news, she felt nothing. No anger, no relief. Just peace. Because it was finally over. Just a quiet ceremony. Close friends. Her sister, his assistant, the cafe staff. People who had been part of their real journey. Amara wore a simple cream dress, her curls pinned with white jasmine flowers. Logan wore the same suit he wore the day they met, no tuxedo, no bow tie, just him. They married in a garden at sunset. No photographers, no gossip blogs. Just a soft breeze and two promises made in the open air. I'll never try to change you, he said. And I'll never run again, she answered. Home a year later, they sat on the same rooftop, sipping tea, holding hands, watching their toddler wobble around on chubby legs. The city buzzed below them, but up here, it was quiet. He looked at her with the same soft wonder he always had. How did I get lucky enough to find you? He asked. She smiled. You didn't find me? We crashed into each other. And I'll never let go. She leaned her head on his shoulder, watching the sky change colors. She had once been the girl who wanted nothing from him. Now she had everything she never dared to ask for. And it was real.